Well, good morning. Another day, another exciting morning where it's clear, it's cool, and I'm in a sleeveless shirt because I like it cold. Maybe not freezing, but cold. You know, I don't know. But anyway, I was talking to my brother about football this morning, and we were looking up some stuff, mainly him since I'm driving and working. But yeah, we had some fun facts. First of all, let's cover the basics. I think the Browns, first of all, should be 3-0. The Jets game was absolutely atrocious. They should have won 3 downs by the Browns, and they could have 3 downing the balls, and they could have won the game. So Browns blew it, but from what I heard, from what I saw, there was 3 other games where the teams blew it, or almost blew it, or should have won and didn't, should have lost but didn't, whatever the case. But I don't know which one was the worst. There was 4 of them. Raiders, Browns, I believe Ravens was one. I forget the other one. But the Raiders, the Ravens, and the Browns were 3 atrocious games where the team blew it big time. Week 3, I think the Browns are starting to establish themselves as an offensive guru. Defensively, they're still trying to figure it out. They did enough to win against the Steelers, but I think they're still growing pains. Dolphins had an injury with Tua, not a good thing. So that's the basic NFL stuff that I'm going to get into. But let's get into some of the more interesting facts that my brother was helping me look up. Thank you, Jeff. Awesome. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. The thumbs up don't cost you a thing. It just shows you're interested. And you just click one button for a thumbs up. I'm doing the best stuff I can get in there, and I know it's not the best quality sometimes, but it's the best I can do. I'm always busy. So if you would, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Just thumbs up. Quick thumbs up. Please. 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 No. But anyway, all seriousness, if you do, you do. You don't, you don't. I'm just asking. Gotta throw it in there. Leave me your comments. Okay, so comment on what do you think is the highest scoring in the NFL? Who do you think was the team that scored the highest points ever in an NFL game? Here's the more interesting. Let's move to college. Who do you think was the top scoring team in the college football? And again, don't look it up. Leave in the comments, and then you can look it up. See how close you are. If nothing else, just to see how close you can guess. It surprise you. One way or the other. What is the lowest scoring game ever in NFL history? These are all things I could talk about. I'm choosing not to right now because, you know, I want you guys to maybe be interested in trivia. But, so let's touch base. Tua, injury, I don't know a lot of details. I heard it was concussion. I'll be honest, I don't really know. Leave in the comments, let me know. If it's just concussion, that's not bad at all. If it's anything more than that, then say prayers, obviously. There's a lot of injuries this year. The Browns, Jacoby Brissett, I said would be all right. Looks like I might be right on that. He's exceeding expectations right now. And that's going to bring up another controversy when Deshaun Watson comes back. Brissett is tearing it up, which the question is, can he keep it up all season until Watson comes back? But if he does, the question comes down to, man, my throat's getting sore. The question comes down, do you keep Brissett in, or do you keep Watson, or do you put Watson in? Obviously, they're paying Watson to be the moneymaker and to be the difference maker. So, I don't know why my throat's bothering me when I'm talking. So I guess the question comes down to how much difference is it going to make with Watson between Watson and Brissett if Brissett is doing really good? Do you take him out? Do you keep Watson in? Or do you put Watson in? Do you keep Brissett in? I think that's going to be an interesting conversation coming up if Brissett keeps playing the way he is. I think it will be Watson, but I think realistically, I think the goal is going to be just what's best for the team. Watson has more impact, but Brissett has the history right now. So that's going to be an interesting question. Nick Chubb, among one of the best in the league as far as running backs. Can't argue it. Whether he's a league leader or not, I really haven't looked into that, but he's good. Well, the question comes up, you have Chubb, you have Hunt, you have D'Ernest Johnson. Do you trade any of those guys? Honestly, if I'm the Browns, I try trading for D'Ernest Johnson and for Kareem Hunt or for Kareem Hunt. Trade one or both of those guys. Get some draft capital. Chubb's going to be the main guy. I mean, obviously, they like Hunt, so I can see them keeping Hunt and getting rid of Johnson. But Hunt's the more proven player. So, which way would you rather go? Personally, I think if you're going to keep one of those two players, I think Johnson's been the more study, but he's also not been a full-timer. Hunt has. But Hunt's also had a lot of injury, too. So, I would say pick up Johnson, or keep Johnson if you're going to keep the two, because I think you get more value from Hunt. But you have Jerome Ford coming up, and he's supposed to be good too. So that's not a bad thing. Then the question comes down to receiving-wise. Obviously, Amari Cooper has been one of the first truly number one receivers we've had in a long time. And Amari Cooper had a thing to prove, and I think he's proven he has still got it. That's awesome. Njoku, not been as utilized as what you would like for the money he's getting paid, but again, he's proven he can play. So the Browns' offense, the line is a solid line. I think the Browns' offense is showing they can play. Now the question comes down to is the defense. There's a lot of injuries. Anthony Walker's out. Garrett's had some issues. Devian Clowney has been hurt. But I think we also have Chase Winovich, who I think is good. And we also have Alex Wright, who's a rookie from last year. The defensive tackles have been an issue, but I think that's mostly because they're still really young. And the defensive backfield has been our main issue. I think our defensive backfield has been where we've been hurting most. And it's not because of injury, it's because we've not been consistent. So, I think the whole AFC North has been struggling. I think the Bengals are starting to bring it on. Ravens, verdict's still out. I think they have a good team. Now, are they going to be able to keep producing or start producing? I don't know. Steelers, Tomlin's never had a losing record. In all honesty, I'm basing this on Tomlin. I can see them being 500 or better. But in all honesty, I don't know. I just don't think they're as strong as what they usually are. So I can see them being close to 500, but I don't know if I see them being over 500. I think it's going to be the Browns, Bengals, and Ravens as the top three, which I can't believe I'm saying that because the Browns always say they're going to be good, then they never are. Or mostly are never. But I think the Browns have put enough money in the line, and they have the running backs. I think the quarterback's going to be in good shape. So I can see the Browns offensively are definitely there until Watson comes back, and I think it just takes time for Watson because Watson is good. But the question is, how much has he hurting from taking that much time off? That's going to be the question. But the Steelers, everybody wants to say throw Kenny Pickett in, the rookie in. In all honesty, I can see Pickett taking over. But I don't see him taking over this early in the season because we're only 4 games into this We're only 3 games in the season, and Trubisky, all the problems the Steelers have had, it's not all Trubisky. I think he's struggled, but they don't really have a top-notch running back. They don't really have a true number one wideout this year. Not like they've had. They have a number one, but I don't think he's near to the degree that what they've had in the past. He's not Antonio Brown. He's not Hines Ward. So they're struggling. The Ravens have lost a lot on defense. Offensively, they have most of the same team, but defensively, they're missing some pieces. So in all honesty, I think the Browns and Bengals on paper are the best 2 teams. Now to go through the league real quick, the Bills I think are the real thing. The Dolphins, if Tua's there, I think are good enough to be in a playoff possibility. And the South, you're going to have the best 2 teams is Tennessee and Houston, and I'm not sold on either one. Somebody's got to win the division, but I'm not sold on either one. And the West, they're saying that whole division is supposed to be the best division in football. Realistically, my question to you comes down to, if you have a team and you add a quarterback to a mediocre team that's old and aging, but still pretty consistently decent, how much difference are you going to make when your team has a bunch of holes from top to bottom in the first place? And yes, I'm talking about the Broncos. They said that the Broncos are supposed to be playoff caliber this year by adding Russell Wilson. Their offensive line is mediocre. Their receivers are mediocre compared to a lot of teams. The run game is still average. Their defense, they got rid of Von Miller, who is the best player that they've had in a long time. He's gone. I mean, what did they replace him with? That's my big question. What did you replace Von Miller with? And the real answer is, they really haven't. The Raiders have a decent team. I think Gruden ball has always been good, but the problem is, you're talking about a team with John Gruden that is not, it wasn't his team, and his style is different to what the NFL used to be. I mean, he was good when he coached, but now I think he's trying to play the same style of offense and defense, and the NFL has adjusted and changed to the point where he's not good anymore. As far as his methods and his play calling and stuff like that, so he struggled. I think that's been the issue with Gruden until he left, and now you have. Well, we won't even go to Jacksonville from last year because you had the Urban Meyer, I call it debacle. I think they're in a good spot this year with Trevor Lawrence, but I still don't think I'm just not sold on the Jaguars. I'm just not. And then you go to can't think. And then you go from the Jaguars. So I think the Raiders, where they're at now, I think is in a decent spot. I think 3 of those 4 teams are playoff caliber. I think the Chiefs is down. Now, I think the Chiefs are going to be good, but I think the Chiefs are down. I think the Raiders are up. And I think the Chargers are the other team that I think is going to be in competition. In all honesty, I can see it being the Bills. And the South, that's a hard one. I would say probably Tennessee. Probably in that division. I can see Cleveland and Cleveland and the Cincinnati as the top 2 teams in that division. And I see, which that's 2 wild cards. So you have another wild card. It'll come down to the Broncos or Raiders, Chargers, and the Chiefs. I think that's the playoff teams. And one of those 3, between the Chiefs, Raiders, and Chargers, I don't know. I talked about the Broncos more. I don't know why. But out of those 3 teams, minus the Broncos, one of those teams is not going to make it and be disappointed. The other one, I think, is. And if they do make it, then it's going to be Miami or I think the other question is going to be Miami. So if all three make it, I think Miami is going to be the one that's out. But I think it's going to be Cleveland, Cincinnati, and I think the Ravens are going to just miss. And I think the Steelers are going to just miss. Well, that's my AFC picture. I really haven't looked as much on the NFC, but that's my AFC of what I think. That's where I think the teams are. But that's my NFL AFC update for the moment. Browns playing the Falcons. I don't really know the rest of the schedule. But I don't see the Browns losing against the Falcons. I just don't. Falcons have Mariota. They don't have much else. Browns are up. Falcons are down. Browns just have to make sure they finish the game. That's going to be the big key. So anyway, that is my NFL update for the NFL this week. Tell me what you guys think. Again, who has the most rushing, who has the most points scored in a game, in a college game, and in a pro game? I'll give you a clue. It was in the night. College was 1916 for the highest scoring for one team. And I'll surprise you. The other one is, I was told what year, now I forget. Highest scoring NFL game. How many points do you think? Lowest scoring game. I know which teams. I think it was 1908. Or 2008. Sorry. And I think it's because there's something that happened with the stadium. But what is the lowest scoring NFL game? Those are 3 trivia questions. Let me know in the comments before you look it up on what your guess is. And I'll do a video in the future that will probably tell you the answer. Or I will do a video in the future that will tell the answers. But that's where I'm at. You guys enjoy. Have a great night. Again, thumbs up. I'm doing a thumbs up. You can't really see it. And I will check you guys later. Have a great evening.